This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. So Jameis Winston is going to be the starting quarterback from now in the foreseeable future, especially since DTR seems to have a serious injury serious enough that the Browns decided to bring in Bailey Zapp. Now, again, DTR hasn't hit the IR or anything. This might be a 1 week thing or a 2 week thing, but I think it's safe to say that the Browns are going to stick with Jameis probably until the bye week. That being the case, and the case being that we've talked about Jameis a lot this season because of the quarterback situation, but we really haven't broken down Jameis. So what I want to do in this video is get some tape from the last 3 years of Jameis Winston in New Orleans to figure out what kind of player Jameis Winston is. Spoiler warning, I have 2 comps for Jameis Winston. 1 football comp, 1 basketball comp. And I think the basketball comp's going to make more sense than the football one. The football comp that I have for Jameis, for those of you who aren't aware of his game and want to know what this experience should feel like, is he basically plays like a more arm-talented, more confident Jacoby Brissett. The basketball comp that I have for Jameis Winston that applies for football is he is the quarterback version of J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith, if you watch the Cavs in 2016, which was a long time ago, I have to kind of reckon with. That was almost 10 years ago. Oh, man, I'm feeling old. But J.R. Smith, when he was on the Cavs, or J.R. Smith throughout his whole career, was somebody who was known for being extremely talented, supremely talented, also inconsistent. Sometimes J.R. Smith would look like one of the best 2 guards in the NBA. Sometimes J.R. Smith will look like somebody who is not aware of the fact that they play in the NBA. Now, if you put J.R. Smith in the right system, you give him the right responsibilities and roles, J.R. Smith's going to be very valuable to your team. But it does require a specific set of circumstances being correct in order to get the most out of J.R. Smith, right? And that's the question with Jameis. Do the Browns have the specific set of circumstances necessary in order for Jameis Winston to be successful? Well, let's look at Jameis's game and see if the Browns provide the things that he does well. All right, let's talk about what Jameis Winston brings to the table as a football player, what he does well, what he doesn't do well, and kind of just get a full understanding of what Jameis is and isn't. I wanted to do this because I think since the situation at quarterback has been so stressful and so controversial all year, some people might make Jameis to be something more than what he is, or some people might make Jameis to be something that he's not, right? And I just want to go through what Jameis doesn't do well. One thing about Jameis, he's a play action guy. He does really well under center, under play action, right? One of the better play action quarterbacks in the back, well, one of the better play action backup quarterbacks in the NFL, right? If you take his play action numbers and kind of rank them against what would be the average in the NFL, he's probably going to be like 11th, 12th in the league in the full season, but he does really well with play action. One of the reasons he does really well with play action is he really does a good job of reading play action, right? And letting play action develop and being patient with it. And then he has the arm strength to just rip on these play action throws here, right here. Bam, rip. Like, if you want to be a good play action quarterback, you got to have good feet, little bit of athleticism, not a ton of athleticism. And then you got to be accurate and have that arm strength to go with it. Another one here under center. This is out of weak. Yep. Look at here, steps, top, and you see how he reads through. I believe he eventually just throws this ball out of bounds here because there's really nobody open. And he just gets rid of it. But you see how he goes through all his progressions here. It's another play action play. This time closer to the goal line. Again, it's pretty easy spins. Gives the guy a good chance to make something happen. Let's go another play action play here on the goal line. You see the footwork here too. This is what I like from Jameis here. And it just goes up, gives this guy a chance to make this play here at the back end. We saw this out of Jameis actually in his one drive last week for the Cleveland Browns versus Cincinnati. He went up, had a touchdown similar to this. That's part of his arsenal. He's going to give guys chances to make plays in the red zone here. But look at the footwork here. I like here, right? Gets a step and then works that play action. See, works that handoff fake into his feet. And you see how he doesn't get too deep here, right? He knows what part of the field he's in. And just make sure he cuts that drop early, chops his feet, sees pressure, gets it out. Another play action here. He's not the most artful with the fakes, but he just gets through these progressions so quickly sometimes, right? Right here. I mean, that's a great progression right here for him to make right before he gets hit, because he knows, okay, over's done, the out's done, your outlet to 41 here and your flat's done, but he does have this tight end coming across late, and he anticipates it and throws it right into that window. Great progression there on play action. It's like that's next level play action stuff there. Another one here. It's kind of just another good job of him like deciding to roll out and drive. Boom, wide open. Guys got to catch that. That's good process by Jameis. And just a ton of play action here, right? Thinking we got, 13 clips of play action? Hell yeah, this is the beautiful stuff that Jameis can do out of play action. And look how clean his feet are on this. That's what we want to watch first, right? On the fake and everything. Clean feet. 1, 2, drop pop. And then look how he launches this ball. This is beautiful. Boom. That's a beautiful, beautiful rep out of play action. Let's pop that again in. So it's pretty simple here, right? It's a 3-route play action? No, 4-route play action. Gets to the top here. You notice, too, another thing that you notice here. Look at where Jameis is at the top of his drop. And you see how he's not blowing his tackle's angle. He's staying parallel with his tackle. So his tackle can still win or lose or have some room to adjust if they get beat a little bit. This is called helping your tackle out, right? It's just a good drop here. Get to the top, pop, find your landmark, get up, get comfortable, launch that thing. And he launches that. That's a beautiful ball there. Bam. Now, he loves throwing that route, and he will throw that route no matter what. It's kind of a problem for him, right? Because it turns into interceptions sometimes. Like I think right here, he just decides to throw it. It's a little late here when he launches it. Like he loves taking that deep. He's gonna test it. He's gonna test it. Think he tries it again here. This actually ends up being an interception. No, close to it. Right? He's gonna test deep. That's part of Jameis's game. Sometimes he's gonna hit him. Sometimes he's not. Right? But he's a good play action quarterback. He can do all the variations of it. He's done all the variations of it. I think over 512 dropbacks in play action in his career in the NFL alone. And then, he played at Florida State, did play action there. He's run almost any play action you can ask him to run, right? Any footwork out of it, he's ran it. He's experienced here. I mean, look at this ball here. Oh, whew. When he gets it, it's beautiful, right? Like, look at that one there, top of his drop. And again, just notice what the footwork is, where he stays, his landmark is in the pocket, how he doesn't really drift from it. It's a good job there. And I believe this is run action, actually, because, they're run blocking. You're not seeing anybody, like, jump out to a giant pass set. So this is out of run action here. So he knows he's going to get these linebackers. They're going to be sucked into it, or at least start super shallow. So he gets here, sees that post, and he just trusts his guy to run underneath it. This is beautiful. Bam, gets it right to him. All right, man. Jameis is going to test that deep. Sometimes he's going to be accurate with it, right? This is the J.R. Smith of it all. Sometimes he's going to be accurate with that deep ball. Sometimes he's going to miss. This right here, I mean, it should have been a hit, but it missed. Maybe it's because the wide receiver got tripped up a little bit, and that's why it wasn't on target, but, you know, it should have probably been a hit there. Another play action rep here. I believe this one gets picked off. Just goes through deep. Sometimes he hits it. Sometimes he misses it, right? And this is one where he underthrows it, and he misses it. Gets intercepted. All right, let's talk about Jameis as an athlete maneuvering in the pocket, right? I think he does a really good job of this now. This is a really good job. This is something similar he did in Cleveland in his one drive here, right? The little scoot up here. But he does maneuver this well. He is fully aware that he is only a pocket passer, right? So the big problem with guys once they lose their athleticism is if they're under the impression that they still can roll out and do all the athletic shit. Jameis is never under that impression, so he never tries to roll out unless he has a ton of space there. Most of the time, he's going to step up, fight through the pocket, and if he throws on a run, it's going to be right there in the middle of space. You love that. Now, if you're the offensive lineman and you're watching this, and I think this is up to the Browns coaching staff, right, and Andy Dickerson, you have to be aware that this is how Jameis plays. It's going to be different than Deshaun and DTR because Deshaun, DTR, they're launching, right? So you're getting downfield. You're blocking once you see him make this movement. But for Jameis, you have to understand he's going to throw it more than often than not when he pops up in that pocket. So wait that half a second to get downfield because he's not going to get that much if he runs anyways. So that's a coaching point, right? Got to make sure if you're Kevin and you're Andy and you're everybody in charge of this offense, you get that point through. Hey, don't block downfield. He's going to throw it if he steps up. See him maneuver the pocket again here. Again. He's going to maneuver it. He's going to work that pocket. Look at him work the pocket here. I mean, this is really working that pocket here. And it rips it. Bam. Right? But he's going to work that pocket. You see him he's going to fight as long as he can to stay in that pocket. Jameis is really good at that. He's gotten really good at that in his time in New Orleans, right? Look at this. Boom, stays in that. You see how he helps his tackles out too? This is what we mean by helping out your tackles as a quarterback. If you roll out of here, right, like we've seen Deshaun and DTR do, you're going to create a free lane for 53 to chase after you. But if you just step up, you play with the angles a little bit, bam, all of a sudden now that loss for your tackles turns into a win. Jameis didn't have a good offensive line in New Orleans. He was at the bottom of the league in 2021 in kept clean percentage. I think bottom 4. So they didn't keep him clean very often. He was pressured often. Again, I can't stress enough, the coaching point needs to be in this week. Hey, when you see him step up, do not block downfield. Because he could throw this, he could run it, but he's not like going to break off a 60-yard run or anything. So if he does run it, he's making sure he has enough space to do his thing. And right here he runs. He has enough space to do his thing. He scores. But you don't need to be downfield blocking for him. Just give him that half a second, right? Wait till he's obviously a runner before you try to block him. Don't try to be ahead of it. This is another example here versus the Minnesota Vikings. Top here, you see how he finds that landmark? Look, the leverage for these tackles are blown, right? They are beat to the outside, but Jameis just steps up. Bam. There it is. That's called helping your tackles out. That's called just avoiding a pressure right there. Bam. And then what? He runs up. Don't go downfield. He's going to throw. Bam. That has to be the coaching point this week. Do not go downfield if you're these offensive linemen. He will step up. He's going to use the middle of the pocket. He's going to hitch and everything else like that. He's going to do all of that. don't go downfield. But look at this, right? Both these edges have their guys beat dead to rights. Jameis just does an excellent job. That's the small stuff that you want DTR, Deshaun to do to avoid these pressures. This is what you do. Avoid it. Find the window, and that's a hell of a throw. Cross his body. It's a hell of a throw. All right, let's look at the crazy Jameis stuff, right? Because we all know this comes with the package with Jameis Winston. You're going to get some crazy shit from him. This is an example of a crazy play you're going to get from Jameis. It's going to happen, man. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. He does not, the one thing Jameis Winston does not have is a good read on when the play is dead, right? And this is what's held him back from being a great franchise quarterback, right? I would argue consistency and shit like this has held him back, right? Because he just can't understand that this play is dead, but he tries to make it happen. And he does not throw through contact as well as you would think for somebody as big as he is. Because a lot of his biggest mistakes come when he tries to throw through contact, and he's just not great at it. Also, sometimes Jameis is a pretty good athlete. Sometimes Jameis looks like the worst athlete you ever seen in your life. It's like real Jordan Love-ish, where it's like, man, this guy's clumsy. But yeah, you're going to see some wild shit here with Jameis. Sometimes that wild shit is going to work out for you. Sometimes it's not. Let's go to the next play here. Another example of wild Jameis. Right here, like hitch, hitch, hitch. I'm going to throw that, and it floats. Ugh, that's ugly. And that's crazy Jameis. Why are you trying to keep that play alive at that point? Honestly, just take the sack. You're not even that far downfield. Is this crazy Jameis that works? Yes, this is crazy Jameis that kind of worked here, right? Because, like, why did you throw into that? It's three guys right there. That's a really tough ball to fit in. Would not recommend throwing into that. Another crazy Jameis example here. I think this one actually works out for him. Yeah, like dead to rights, just throws this shit up. It gets caught. Gives him a chance. He's going to give you a chance in the red zone. It's up to these guys to make the play here, but yeah, he was dead to rights. Down, getting dragged. You really shouldn't throw that in the red zone. Like, that's crazy. That is a crazy thing to do. That's why, like, he's not one-to-one Jacoby. Jacoby Brissett would never throw that football. Only a crazy man like Jameis would. Because he's crazy. And that crazy be working sometimes. That crazy sometimes doesn't work. Right there, boom. That was a crazy decision to throw that ball into that window and try to layer that over that in that spot. And it floated on him. Right, I think he's trying to get the ball to 83, and it just floats on him, and it's an interception. That's a crazy decision he made there. Yeah, this is another one where it floats on him in the middle of the field. That's a tough window to try to hit, and he doesn't really have to hit that window. It's a tough window. I don't know why he tried to do that. But yeah, that's another thing with Jameis. Jameis isn't like consistently accurate. There are going to be some throws he makes where you're like, wow, this guy can fit into the craziest window. And then there are going to be some throws where you're like, nah, he can't fit into those windows consistently. He's just not a consistent, accurate guy when it comes to throwing the football. Sometimes he can fit it. Sometimes he can't. You know, that one he had a hard time layering it. Let's go to this next play here. This is another crazy good Jameis play, right? Because this is an absolutely crazy decision he makes here. A absurd decision. Did you see where he threw that ball? Look at that shit. That is absurd. Only a crazy man in Josh Allen in like maybe prime Pat Mahomes makes this choice. There's no world where like 2021 Jameis Winston should be making this. By the way, this wasn't even 2021 Jameis Winston. This was last year. Yeah, this was last year. This is his most recent gameplay outside of last week. Like, he's just going to do shit like this. Sometimes it works. It's a crazy decision. It's an absolutely absurd decision. Your coach is going to drive, this is going to drive your coach crazy. But it do be working sometimes. It's just, it comes with the package of Jameis Winston. He does not he processes the game well, he processes the game fast, but he also does not process the same way a regular person would process it. Because every person would have been like, yeah, man, not making that throw. But Jameis has an insane level of confidence in his ability to throw the football, which is sometimes justified. We're going to see his wild throws in a minute here. And he's going to decide to do shit like this because he thinks he can do it. And sometimes he can, which justifies why he does it. Again, the J.R. Smith of quarterbacks. Because this is an absolutely insane decision. Like an absolutely insane thing to do. It does work out, though. Here's another example, a more mild example of Jameis just kind of being always preferring to take the chunk play versus the easy play here. Right here, you're going to see number one pop open on a drag, and that's where the ball should go. But he sees a little bit of space on this corner, and he's like, nah, I'm going to fit it there. And that's a tight window, but he does make the throw. Which brings us into the third thing that Jameis brings to the table. He's going to give you some wild throws. Like, he's going to give you some what the F throws. He's going to give you some wild throws. And, like, these wild throws are crazy. Like, look at this throw right here. Sometimes these wild throws are going to be interceptions like this one. But look at this throw. That's a crazy accurate ball there. Like, that's a tight window, but that ball is right there. If he could do that consistently, he'd be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He can't, so he's not. But, like, he's going to give you these wild throws. It's another one here versus Carolina. They show some pressure here. He just lines it up. It's a great throw here. It's a wild throw. Another one here versus New York. Again, they send pressure. Under pressure. That's crazy, man. Like, that's a crazy throw right there. Look how tight that window is. Like, you have to anticipate that. You're under pressure. You know you're getting blitzed. You do a great job just standing in there and just ripping that. It's a wild throw. Is this a deep ball? Yeah, this is what I think 2022 versus Atlanta. And look at that shit. Rips that thing. I believe that's Jarvis Landry, fun fact. And then versus the Vikings. Another just wild throw here. Like, look at the touch on that ball. Look how he just gives guys chances in the red zone. David Njoku might have a lot of production if the Browns can get to the red zone consistently, because Jameis is going to give him every opportunity in the world to catch that football. Look at this. Like, if you fancy yourself a 50-50 ball guy or a jump ball guy and you're on the Browns roster, tie them shoes up, because he's going to give you a chance. And that's what Jameis is. He's going to do some crazy stuff. He's going to play a lot of play action. He's going to give you some wild throws. He's going to make some decisions that make you question his sanity. But that's Jameis Winston. Hope you have a better understanding of him now than you did before you watched this video. Thank you for watching. Y'all have a great day. Have a better night. Peace.